Thank you. Kevin, welcome back. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we did this several years of Legally Blonde. So
Yeah,
since Legally Blonde, what have you done? Because you've done quite a bit, actually.
Show-wise?
Show-wise, education-wise, all that stuff, yeah.
I finished my associate's degree from Lone Star.
Yeah.
I'm currently at Sam Houston finishing up my bachelor's in criminal justice. Doing a lot of theater.
Yeah.
But life's been busy.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, busy is not a bad thing.
Not at all, and it's such a good thing. And I'm lucky to be able to do all the things I've been doing.
Yeah.
Because I traveled to my best friend's wedding a year ago, and then just being fortunate enough to continue to be able to do theater while going after my bachelor's degree.
Right.
Because that's something that's not even related to theater at all.
Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate.
Well, although it depends what you end up doing, getting into. I remember talking to Deanie. She used to be an undercover cop. And she said, yeah, there's plenty of acting skills, but the difference is your life is on the line when you're undercover, right?
Yeah. That's something that's always in the back of my head. Am I really pursuing this? Because I want to be a detective.
Yes.
So I already know I have to work the streets as a patrol cop for 2 to 3 years before I even can get my foot into the door for that. So it's something I have to think about, that I'm going to be putting my life on the line, and that's a scary thought. And it puts into perspective of the people that do it every single day.
Yes.
So it's kind of eye-opening.
Yeah, it's a stressful. It can be stressful, absolutely. But it's certainly necessary, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad people out there, so unfortunately it is very necessary, because ironically crime rates are going down, but with news media you see it more and more often. Right. So there's a definite need, and there's always going to be a need. There's never going to be an end to that type of stuff. So
you think we'd go into the academy after
you
graduate?
Yeah. Because I'll finish my degree in a year and a half.
Okay.
So, that last semester, I'll be putting in all those applications, going through all the process, and then hopefully, when I graduate, within a month or so, I should be in the police academy. Right. And be a cadet at a police agency. So, and I know I'm thinking about just going somewhere bigger, like a big city like Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, NY, because you can move up faster and get into the detective, because there's such a high need because local smaller agencies, you only need 2 to 3 detectives, and they're there for life most of the time once they get in, so they're there until they're 70 plus, so there's not many openings, so. But with the big agencies, there's always someone coming and going, because you need. A recruiter told me there's 50 to 60 detectives, and they're bigger ones, and they're specialized, so they're not all in one. So there's always someone getting out and needing to put someone back in. It's just a long process, but it's worth it in the end, because it's something I want to do. Right.
Well, and the service to the community. So absolutely, thank you. For that. Since the time we talked, I guess, at Legally Blonde, you've been getting a lot of leads. Yeah, or definitely beefier or roles. So let's talk about that. How's that changed you?
It's put it in a lot of perspective of because the last time we did this, I had never been more than an ensemble or actor in a show, and then I started getting lead roles, and I'm like, wow. And then I see this. I told Carolyn this before auditions for Anne and Frank. It makes me realize how much more difficult it is to be an ensemble/featured actor in a show versus being a lead actor, because as the ensemble feature actor, you're coming and going on and off stage. So you have to go in character, do your costume stage, or sometimes you have to be a different character the next time you come on stage. Versus when you're a lead actor or even a supporting role, you're the same character, so you don't have to notice the character differences between the characters you're playing. yes, you have more lines to memorize. Which,
yes, right.
But that hasn't been an issue. It's just like the whole different character thing and remembering the different scenes and
being distinct characters is tough. To be good, be good at being distinct characters, it's actually tough, challenging. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a big thing I've noticed the difference from becoming a lead and stuff. But being a lead has also been very rewarding because it was something I've always wanted to do, and then I finally had the chance to do that, and I learned a lot from that, and just constantly like the notes, the critiques, and just like telling me what I need to do better, which I feel like has made me stronger as an actor versus the one I was, heck, even a year ago. So
how do you approach a character?
How I approach a character is, it's different depending on the show, for sure. Like with Anne Frank, we're playing real life people.
Right.
So with Anne Frank, I went back and I looked up as much of Peter Van Pels is what his real life name was, as much as I could. Obviously, there's not much in there besides what was written in her actual diary and then the scripts and just some very obscure offhand recounts of how he was before he died on the death march and stuff like that. So there's not much, so you get to put your own twist on the character, but you have to be careful because you are playing a live character.
Well, you want to honor the character as best you can, yes.
Especially in a show like this.
Yes.
But in other shows, like when I'm going to use Musical Comedy Writers as an example, I looked at the character, I read the script a couple of times, and was like, how do I feel like I should go about this? Because that's not a show that's done often, and there's obviously not much you can find about it. So I went in there and was like, okay, he's a comedian. He's a bad comedian.
And you got to make that entertaining somehow.
I mean, on stage, a bad comedian's a funny comedian to them because they're laughing at how bad the joke is and stuff. But with that, I was like, bad comedian. And it's just like, in most of the roles, I try finding bits and pieces of who I am in real life, and I try connecting them to that character as much as possible so I can accent that and bring it out more. And so it's different. Like with Peter, my portrayal or thought process of how he's very shy. He's very reserved. He's very introverted, which that's normally who I am outside of the theater. Because I'm so comfortable with everyone here. I'm just extroverted beyond belief, and then as soon as I get home, I'm like, okay, I don't want to deal with anybody. I just want to lay in my bed and be dead to the world for the next 8 hours.
But it is interesting, you talk about the persona of who people see you on stage. If that's all they know about you, oh, well, Kevin is this way. And then there's your private life. But then, like you said, there's even this separate persona which you are when you're off stage, but within the community that feels safe. As opposed to being at home.
Because you're with people you've gotten close with, so they know your little intricacies and all that stuff, your quirks and stuff. While if you go out with the public, say a grocery store or something like that, you're like, okay, I need to reserve myself because I don't want to make a fool of myself. Even though I'm making fool of myself for fun, and entertainment of others, but still, that's
it's different somehow. I don't know why, but it's different. So you still got a year and a half to go. So what do you see yourself doing for the next year and a half, other than just trying to complete studies and get ready for the academy?
I'm planning on doing as much theater as possible because I know within that year and a half, I have to take a decent sized break because
you're gonna be busy.
I'm gonna be very busy. There's not any way for me to be able to commit the rehearsal time and the show performances. So I'm going out there doing as much as I can within the next year and a half. And who knows what happens in the next year and a half? Life could change. You don't know because thinking about it, it's you could get a lucky break. It's anyone could be sitting in the audience, and the next thing you know, your life can change within a second. You see that with like obviously actors and stuff like that, and then there's a couple of people I know that it's happened to, and they get that lucky break, and now they're getting paid to do this, and I'm like, I wish that's me, but that's also on me because I don't reach out. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't want to go past that.
Yeah.
So it's just a very trying to find the words, but like eye-opening thing, like, wow, something we've been doing for the past 10 years, I'm going to have to stop, most likely, in the next year and a half.
Well, maybe you'll get to use what you've learned.
Yeah.
Going because, like I said, for the different activities, we just finished to talk to John, and he's a lawyer. Well, you know what? Law is also pretty theatrical, too. Or you can just use elements of that, certainly in court, within certain limits, of course. But then there's certainly little life lessons on here that go beyond the stage, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if that's just something you take yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, when we announced this, you had started thinking about this from a year ago.
Yeah. The moment I saw the season drop,
right,
I was like, I'm auditioning for the show. There was like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
Because this is a show I've wanted to do for 8-9 years now.
But why? Why this show? I mean, there's tons of dramas you could do, but why this story? Why this show?
The number one thing is heritage.
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised, or I say raised, I left Germany when I was 4/5.
Okay.
Then I moved to the States, but that German heritage, like that Holocaust, like era, it's very raw in my mind, and because one, like I was bullied growing up just for being German.
Right.
Especially when it came to the time to study World War II and the Holocaust. And
guess what? Right, right. If you're German, you must be bad, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of thing.
So I got called Nazi and all that stuff growing up in like kindergarten, because obviously in kindergarten no one really knows that type of stuff.
Right.
But like elementary, junior high, and high school, I was always like made a target. Like a lot of time it was playful fun, but after 5 times it starts eating at you. You're like, I can't do this.
Right.
Like there was times I've actually asked teachers like if I can leave the class for the class period when we were going over this stuff, because like we would watch movies like Schindler's List.
Right.
I cannot sit down.
When did you watch Schindler's?
It was my senior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was my senior year of high school. It was actually a history of filmmaking.
Okay.
So we were watching a Schindler's List for like 3 days in class, and I was like, can I go to the library or something, because I cannot sit here and watch the movie because it just it's so raw to me, and it's just
certainly the whole experience, and I guess in some ways it should be raw. But that was the part of the pre-show that we did, and we tell people the reason that the panels are the way they are. This part is Germany and what they're doing, but you have to be careful because you cannot tell who's good or bad in that element. The other side is other countries like America and what's going on there because of what's going on in Germany. And it's the same story, though. Just because you're American, you're not necessarily good. Just because you're German doesn't necessarily mean you're bad. And each one has those pictures as an individual story. Like I didn't realize Henry Ford was an anti-Semite.
Yep.
I mean, I probably knew it from a long time, but I completely forgot. But there were plenty of people. It was much more colored. Now it just seems like, we were all on this side. But when you're going through the experience, then no, there were plenty of people that we wanted to be pacifists because we were actually pro-German.
Yep.
At the time. So
because if you think about it, while that was going on in the World War II and the Holocaust, we're having the same thing happen here in America.
Yeah.
After Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
When they were like just taking all the Japanese and putting them in the camps and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, they weren't exterminated, that type of stuff, but
they were singled out for who they were.
Yes.
Right.
And no one bats an eye. Like we even see it today.
It's happening worldwide. That's the scary thing about this story is that it's not called the Holocaust, but there's still genocide.
Yep.
Look at all the places in Africa, or Yemen, or Afghanistan, it doesn't matter, or Chechnya. It doesn't matter. The story is repeated over and over again. It may not be called a concentration camp. It may, but we still have the mass killings.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn nothing. No, it's just
It's just like just over the past Easter, the Sri Lanka stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
That was.
Let's make a statement. Yeah, let's kill people while they're in church.
Yep. The world is really messed up with that.
Yeah.
it's the sad reality is it'll never stop.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be those indifferences, whether it be like culturally and that type of stuff. It's going to continue to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So you can't put a stop to it. Because you can't be like, all right, to everyone in the world, we're going to follow this religion, do these things, do that. It's impossible to do that.
Right.
And that should not happen either.
Right.
Because that would be killing cultures. And that's what helps us grow as humans.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a difficult question. But all we can hopefully is that there are good people that will continue to try to make a difference, to make it different. You know, but unfortunately, it is so easy for, I guess, especially in the news, to accentuate even out of proportion events like this. That is a horrible thing. But like I said, you know, like the vast majority of us don't go out and go, you know, bombing churches, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you said, in general, crime is actually down.
Yeah, and that's why I've wanted to do the show for so long. It's just like the heritage, and like it's a story I've followed for a really long time. It's just something that's always been near dear to me. Like, it was weird because my parents saw the show, and it was the first time they've seen anything of mine in a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't come out to see shows that often.
Right.
It actually took my dad a really long time for him to accept that I was doing this.
Really?
Yeah, he was always. I love my dad. Let me.
No, we understand that. Yeah. But parents have different concerns. For the kids.
Like,
we get that.
In high school and like early college, when I was doing this, just for like education wise,
right.
He's like, you need to focus your attention on something that's going to be more beneficial career wise to you. And I'm like,
pay your bills. I get it. We have the same concerns of our sons too. We get that.
Yeah, because I'm like, I understand. He wants what's best for me.
Of course.
So it was really cool for him to see a show I did. My last college show that I did, he saw, and that changed his perspective because he had a good time.
Right.
Like, he was laughing his ass off.
Right.
But
probably not this one. Probably not.
The funny thing is, my mom told me he was actually tearing up at the end of the show. So I'm glad that he got to see that. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I am auditioning for this. I don't care what's going on in life. I'm auditioning. Right. I blacked out everything. I'm like, all right, this other show I want to audition. Nah,
no.
This
got to do this. Yeah. And you do an awesome job.
Thank you.
You know, and we realize that you're not the you know, that is supposedly the script.
I'm
like, you do an awesome job. Yeah.
I'm 10 years old, almost 10 years older than what I'm supposed to be in the show. So as soon as I saw that stuff, I could not stop talking about the show coming up.
Right.
Like, and then talk about it. When I did And There Were None.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I think I need to stop here. And
right.
And I was like, wait, no. Anne Frank. I'm gonna do Anne Frank. And like Rick and Dennis, I was like, I'm doing this no matter what. And they're like, by the time that show was done, they're like, can you just shut up?
We get it. You're gonna do the show. Shut up already.
And it was funny. Like, I auditioned and I was very nervous at first because I think there was 10 guys or something that had showed up for the Peter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm the oldest one of the 10. I'm like, great. This does not look good for me. And I was nervous because during the audition process, I was sitting there for like an hour and a half at something like that before I even read once. I was like, okay, I guess I'm too old. I got this. And then I started reading. I was like, oh, okay. And then the next time I was like, oh, okay, this is good. And then I got fortunate enough to get the role.
Yeah.
I remember we were coming to the read-through. I was walking by Rick's radio show.
Right.
They like dragged me in real fast. They're like doing their whole man on the street type shtick they do.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, so Kevin, I heard you got cast in Diary of Anne Frank.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. It's like, I'm glad because you did not shut up about it. But he was like, I'm glad you were like, I'm going to do this. And then you actually went through and you got it. And I'm like, because honestly, to play the role I'm playing right now, this is probably the last chance I would have had to play that role. because I'm getting old.
Right. Right.
My body has definitely let me know throughout this entire show with the injuries I've been sustaining and everything that's been going on throughout this process.
Yeah. Well, we've had definitely some health issues during the show. But I mean, all shows are not devoid of that. But we've had some interesting ones this time. Yeah.
This one has been either like illness or car accidents and stuff like that. It's just, but it hasn't stopped us. We've kept going. Like,
show must go on. Yeah, you know.
There's like the one rehearsal where I thought, I seriously hurt my knee. Right. I went to the doctor next day. It's like, yeah, I think you broke your kneecap. And I'm like, what? I what? It's like, yeah, I think you need to go to the emergency clinic, go get X-rays done. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that.
Oh.
If the X-rays were done, I'm like, you're fine. It's just bruising and stressed out. I'm like, okay, I'm happy about this because I was like, to finally be a part of a show I've been dreaming of doing for so long, and then like possibly that being taken away from me. I'm like, I was like dumbfounded. I was like, how quickly that could have ended. Yeah. And luckily enough,
it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Right.
So I got to keep doing it. And then the car accident I got into, the Sunday before opening night,
right? I
was in a head-on crash. So I was extremely sore. Yeah. They're gonna be mad once if they listen to this when I say this, but I was in a lot more pain than I actually let on.
Right.
But I didn't want to worry them.
Right.
Because they're like, when I hurt my knee, I was like, they're like, you're sitting down and you're not moving.
Right, right.
I'm like, I'm fine, I could go. And I got up and I was like,
right.
Tried to phone it, but they saw it.
Yeah,
the pain, like, they're like, no, you're sitting down. Right. And like they like wrapped my knee up and everything. I'm like,
life has a funny way of intervening.
Yeah, life is like, we're gonna punish you. But I'm like,
can't be that easy. Yeah. But like, just think of the stories now when you look back on this now.
Yeah. I'm like, I was stupid. I should have been more careful. I should not have like gone in a dead sprint and been like 6 feet of stage, seeing that is right in front of the table.
Yeah.
And we're in socks, so I can't exactly stop.
Right.
But it happens, and nothing seriously was injured. So
yeah.
But yeah.
So let's say that you, instead of getting the role now, you got it 5-10 years ago. What would you tell yourself then to bring to the role? Where would you have been? Intellectually, emotionally, spiritually?
10 years ago, I was a sophomore in high school, actually, which is ironic because that's the age of Peter.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
10 years ago, that's when I first started doing theater, so I would be like, don't stress out. Don't freak out, because that's probably what I would have done. Because I would be like, dedicate your time to looking at the script and know your character. Because who I was 10 years ago, I didn't do that.
Right.
I was a high school student. I got the script, looked it, put it aside, and I've learned that's not how you write. Emotionally, though, that would probably have been one of the most difficult parts, because knowing how I was just a year ago with Elephant Man,
right?
Mentally or emotionally, I'm very susceptible to depression and anxiety, and knowing how I was 10 years ago,
right?
I was a very depressed kid because I had just moved to a new town and all that stuff. So I would be like, you need to mentally prepare yourself because of the undertaking of this role. Granted, this show is depressing, but there are the funny moments in the show. Yeah. So that would have helped me out, but I just would have been like, emotionally need to prepare yourself, because you'll very easily fall into a dark pit and don't know how to get out.
Right.
And just focus, because knowing me, I would have played around, joke around, not paying attention to the surrealness of the show and the emotional impact that it could have. Mm-hmm. So that's something I definitely would have told myself back then. So
it sounds like actually you're in a better place now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than you were back then when you were in so-called age appropriate.
Yeah.
So-called.
Yeah. Emotionally and all that stuff, I've grown and learned how to deal with it or take care of myself, I guess.
Yes.
Just the lack of a better term for that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And knowing when I need to, like, stay away from people and, like, just focus on myself to get better in that aspect. So that's a great thing I've learned. Because last year I got into a very, very bad spot, and luckily I had a couple of friends that were able to help me get out of that spot. So, but it's something I wouldn't change for the world, because I'm growing, I'm learning as an actor, because it's not often you get the opportunity to play roles in shows like these, because they're not done often.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate of that.
Well, we're also fortunate that it is how well received. I mean, there's no doubt that the cast would do a wonderful job. It's never that. It's not that. Yeah. But it is about how can we get the message out? Because if people don't come, you don't even get a chance to share the message, share the story. And we've been fortunate that we've had record crowds to be able to do that too. And a lot of them, some of them don't know the story. I am surprised at who, people come and they know the story, and then there are people that know, or they think they know the story.
But it's not.
They really don't. It's not.
It's not what they think about it. It's
no.
Because it's like the first weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had people in the crowds, but we didn't have musical numbers, I should say.
Right. There's no musical numbers.
But there's no way we're going to have that. But it's been cool, like, slowly watching the crowd sizes get bigger and bigger each night. Like this, we're in the final weekend.
Yeah. We got 400 for the Sunday show.
Sunday, it's almost like sold out almost.
And guess what's going on? Avengers, Game.
We have Avengers, yeah, Game of Thrones also.
No, sorry, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but you know what? And I know it's not the same people that'll come. I get that, but
it's like, it's put in perspective, like, we're in a 2-story theater, and it's like, we're going to have people that might be sitting near the sound booth.
Right.
And a lot of times that doesn't even happen in musicals.
That's right. You can have that doesn't happen. Yeah.
So that's like just mind blowing that it's become so well received. Yeah. And especially like the talent that's on stage, like Katie and Kristen.
It's an ensemble cast.
Yeah,
there's no question. I mean, obviously, Anne is the star of the show. But it's an ensemble. And you guys are most on stage most of the time. You don't like you walk off or something.
We don't ever leave the stage, except like when we come on, we don't leave until intermission.
Right.
And then once we come back on, we leave when we
till
leave.
You know.
Not going to spoil anything in this.
No, yeah.
Even though this might come out after the show, but still. But don't want to spoil that in case.
No.
But it's very surreal, because you're like having to find these little things to do, and when you don't have lines for like 10 minutes or so, you're like, all right, I need to find something to do.
True to the character, it's right. It's
because a lot of times if I'm up there in the room, I pull Mushi out of his little cat box and I'll hold him, pet him, and just interact with that, because that's what he would have done, or write in my little notebooks, which. Easter egg. I've started a diary of Peter in these. April 13th, which was
opening weekend, wasn't it? Saturday? Was that Saturday?
I think that was Saturday. Yeah. And then, okay, the rest are another one, but I have one from like opening night, the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, last night, and I'll be doing it again tonight. It's just just telling how I'm just writing out how I feel at that moment.
Yeah.
And it's helping me be in character and stuff, so it's kind of cool. That
inner life of the character while you're on stage, but you've got these huge moments where you don't have anything to do.
I'm supposed to be doing homework, so I'm just
so to speak.
Just writing down these little notebooks. It's a little fun Easter egg for me. I've had like Katie and Samantha, Mackenzie and Kristen come up to me after, like, they'll open it and read the diary entry, and they'll come up to me laughing because just of how ridiculous it is.
Right.
Because like the first weekend, I was I was making fun of Anne,
Right.
and then it slowly has just transitioned to being
Yeah.
me writing it.
Right.
Just the thought process, and like last weekend, I wrote, "Crap, I forgot my yarmulke." I was like, "Crap." I was like, and then I saw it. I was like, "JK, didn't forget my yarmulke," because I was able to find a spot like the sneak backstage,
Right.
where they couldn't see me to go grab it
Yeah.
because we needed it for that one scene. And
Right.
it would look bad if I didn't have my yarmulke on.
Yeah.
So it's also like it helps me like get back into the character, especially after the weekends, because
Sure.
for like me, Katie, and Mackenzie, we didn't get pickup rehearsals because we had the understudies so
Right.
that they could have a show
Right,
for their
right.
friends and family.
Right.
So that's been a big help for me, like getting back into the role and help going on doing the show.
Sure.
So that's been a big help.
Mm-hmm.
And to help me ease my anxiety, it's like, crap, I don't want to forget a line. Don't want to forget a line. Don't want to forget a line.
Has there been a time, like say, in the run or true event of any show where something in the audience trips you up?
Oh, okay. There's been, during the show, I've had several things that have happened. I've taken me out of the show, either the audience or something that's happened. Something I thought that happened backstage, but was really next door blasting music.
Music? It's gotten louder, hasn't it?
Yeah, like last night. Specifically, like last night.
It was ridiculously loud.
I'm laying there in our the bed because it's supposed to be like we're going to sleep and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just hear boom, boom, like all this music and people
Right.
like talking and stuff. Like, where the heck is this coming from? I was getting so frustrated that it's like ruining the moment.
Yeah.
But luckily, like I was told, like in the audience they couldn't really hear it that well, but like we could hear it perfectly
Right.
up there. I'm like, great. The thing that's taking me out of the show the most, though, is like I'd be sitting. Actually, I one chair over, but I'm sitting here. Obviously, there's times I'm turning my head, like looking at the bell clock, or
Right.
just like looking out to the audience, just like as part of my movement.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of people on their phones. I'm just like,
That happened last night.
yeah,
Yeah, somebody, I don't know what was going on, but somebody went there, because we had somebody complain about that.
Yeah.
That they were on the phone. It's like, well, what the hell are you doing? Or why are you here?
Why are you paying
Yeah.
$15, $20 to come see a show and you're
Yeah.
going to be on your phone the entire time?
Yeah. We have actually talked about trying to, because it is expensive technology to be able to block the signals. But if you're just playing a game, there's nothing we can do about that. Or recording even, which
Yeah.
you're not supposed to do. But if they were actually talking to someone, I could block that. But it'd be really expensive. And that's a problem anywhere. It's like large parties, churches and theaters everywhere.
I saw like about a month ago. I saw the play goes wrong at the Hobby Center.
Yeah.
The person, it was such a good show. The person, and we were in like orchestra seats, so
Right.
we're like, it was good air seat. The person right next to me was on her cell phone the entire show.
Entire show.
Almost the entire.
Doing what?
On Facebook, when I was like,
What's the point?
I'm like, are you serious? We're watching a show.
And the bright light of your screen is all over the place.
I mean, luckily it kind of fits in with the theme of the show, but still.
Right.
That was so frustrating. And sometimes it's just like, I just want to be like, can you just please get off your phone for like an hour and a half and enjoy the show? Like, I'm looking at a specific seat because I remember one person specifically was right there in that seat on her phone. And then at intermission, they were gone. So it's like, okay. It's set for the time period, but like, even if your phone's on dim, you're going to see it. Because like,
you can see it.
we're just like, why? Please just get off your phone for like 5 minutes. Not even, an hour and a half, but 5 minutes, I'll take 5 minutes.
Take the 5.
Just for you, so you can enjoy the show, because that 5 minutes is all it could take for you to get into the show, and you're like, oh, wait.
That's right.
It's an hour and a half later.
Then go back on the phone and research all the other stuff that you don't know about. About the period. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. For the production.
Yeah.
And being part of the family, because I think it is a great story. It needs to be retold. Because unfortunately, history's been repeated. Yes.
It's been
different ways.
Yeah. And it's going to continue to be repeated.
Yeah.
The only hope of like it de-escalating is people to be informed or do research.
Yeah.
Because being educated is all that really matters about the situation, as long as you know that it's happened and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because people like to think it doesn't exist.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's that myth too, right? Yeah, it didn't happen. But we only have to look at what's going on now to realize, no, probably not.
Yeah. But life goes on.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't, but who wants to think about that?
Kevin, thanks so much for coming back and being with us. And
thank you.